How's it going? Bryan here at etrailer.com. Today on our 2019 Jeep Cherokee, we're going to be taking a look at the Thule Helium Pro Two bike rack. This rack can hold a total of up to 2 bikes. However, if you're wanting to carry a third one, there's also a 3-bike version available as well. One of the main questions we get in regards to bike racks is if you're still going to be able to have full access to your hatch when the rack is in place. Well, with this particular one, that answer is yes, because it does fold away. There's a lever down here, and you pull up on it, swings down. Then we're going to have no problems opening up our hatch and getting all of our gear in and out. Now, my personal favorite thing about the rack is that it's made from aluminum. So it's going to be incredibly lightweight, and we're not going to have to worry about any rust or corrosion issues either. And that's especially useful whenever we're putting the rack on the Jeep or wanting to take it off and store it inside. The bike is going to be held in place at 3 spots. We're going to have 2 straps on the top tube and one down here, which will act as an anti-sway strap to help prevent any side-to-side movement. It's also going to have an integrated lock that'll swing over your bike's frames and plug in right here to help prevent any theft. Now, before we take the bike off to take a better look at the rack itself, there is something I do want to point out, and that's whenever you have your bike on the rack, it's going to sit up high enough off the ground to where you're not going to have any issues down there, but it's not going to sit up so high that it's going to impede or obstruct your view as you're driving and looking out of the rearview mirror. So to take the bike off, it's really easy. Just remove our straps by pushing down on the tab, swinging these up and over. And the same thing for our strap down here. I'll just grab the bike, slide it off, and set it to the side. Now, the cradles themselves are going to have some adjustability to help accommodate for any style of frame that your bike might have. And it's also going to have a really soft rubber material here. That way you're not going to have to worry about it scratching or damaging your bike's finish. We'll have that same material on the bottom side of the strap. Now, whenever we're not using the rack, what I like to do is just put the straps back in place. That way we don't have to worry about losing it. Now, with the rack in this position, it is going to extend the overall length of our Jeep. And by exactly how much, from the hatch here to the edge of the rack, it's going to be about 30 inches. So that's just something to keep in mind whenever you're in a tight parking spot or pulling into your garage. Now, the arms do swing down into a stored position. Pull up on your handle and swing them down. Now, with it like this, from our hatch to the edge of the rack is right at about 18 inches. So in my opinion, with the Cherokee having a relatively short wheelbase in this position, you're probably not going to have any issues when you pull in your garage. Now, I know ground clearance for Jeep owners can be a thing of concern, and usually want to know that information. Well, in this case, every Jeep can be a little bit different depending on how high it's sitting off the ground, what tires you have, or even what hitch you have. Well, with this one, to let you know, it has a straight shank, so however high your hitch sits off the ground is how high your bike rack will. Now, one thing I really like about this rack is that it's going to have this pin that's already attached to the rack itself. So that's one less thing you're going to have to worry about keeping track of, is that pin and clip. And we're also going to have a knob here on this side, and whenever you tighten that down, it's going to take up the slack in our connection point, keeping our bike rack secure. That way, when you're going down those bumpy roads, you know the rack isn't going to shake around. So to give you an example, if I put some movement in it, it's going to move the whole car and not the rack. And personally, as far as the appearance goes, I think this rack looks really good on the back of our Jeep. This is our test course. Let's start with the slalom. This shows side-to-side action, such as turning corners or evasive maneuvering. Then, onto our alternating speed bumps. This shows twisting action, such as hitting curbs, potholes, road debris, or even uneven pavement. And that'll finish up our look at of the Thule Helium Pro Two bike rack on our 2019 Jeep Cherokee.